Okay, starting over. Hi everyone, I'm April, and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks, and this is a crafty edition. So it is March 31st, 2026. We're in the high 80s, low 90s here in Albuquerque, and I think we might be expecting some rain in the next couple of days, which I hope so. I love a nice rainy day. And I'm not much for the heat, so why am I living in the desert? I don't know. But here we are. Okay, so I did finish the shawl that I was working on last time. It was a bunch of scraps that were all fingering weight with some sparkle, and they all had a little bit of lime green. That was kind of what was going to tie them all together, even though they're all very different colors. It's a triangular crochet shawl that I used the crochet seed stitch, and most of these are Pandia's Jewels colors, and I've already washed it. I did clip the ends. They're all woven in, but I didn't clip them off yet. But it's washed and blocked, and it turned out so big and so pretty. I could wear it on my shoulders. That's usually why I like to wear shawls this way, because my shoulders tend to get cold, especially when the air conditioning is hitting them. Or if I really want to, when it gets cold again, I can wear it like this underneath my jacket. There's the green that started it all. Now I don't know if you can see any of the sparkle on this. Maybe a little bit. But I did only end up using the scrap yarns that I had available. I was planning, maybe if it wasn't big enough, to use a full skein of another sparkly yarn that I had, but I didn't end up needing to break into that because this turned out to be a lovely size, and it's very light and airy and drapey. So let's start with the bottom. This was the fluffy pink llama corn. This was Wonder llama corn, and then this one was Sky Dancer. Those were all the Pandia's Jewels Super Sparkle yarn. I already forgot the name of this one, but it's another super sparkle type of yarn, different dyer though, and it's mostly white with just every now and then a short little rainbow would show up, and this is how that crocheted up. And then we've got a solid super sparkle, which I'm not positive. I think this was a Pandia's Jewels color, but I'm not positive. I don't know. I've had this forever and no ball, no tag, nothing, so I don't know. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I just love fun, whimsical colors, and this is the problem because it's hard for me to wear these with other things that I own, because most of the things that I knit don't go with any of like my work clothes or whatever. So sometimes I don't care and I got fluff on me. Sometimes I don't care and I'll wear whatever, but most of the time I just love making them. That I might wear them, I might not. Who knows? But I enjoy playing with color, so whether I wear them or not, it really doesn't matter. I'm having a blast. So what did I start? I was gonna go back and pick up the worsted weight henwife shawl that I started a while back. That was my plan. I didn't do that. I started two new things. Let's start with the one that I'm just barely in the beginnings of. This is the anemone shawl. I'll have to put the name of the designer up here, and along with the picture of her version. But I decided to use, again, scrap yarn, so this is going to look very different from hers. Let's see, so this is, I believe this is Three Irish Girls Adorn Luxe figuring weight. I'll have to look up all the names of these colors. I'll put them all up here, but I know this one is Three Irish Girls. And then this one I think is a sock obsession yarn called White Sands. It does not look like white or sand, but it's got a lot of bright pinks, purples, yellows, oranges. Very fun. This yarn is Hugh Loco Phyllis sock yarn, and this was part of one of her chicken yarns. I think it was the Americana. So it's like a mustardy yellow with lots of grays and dark brown speckles throughout. And then this one, I do not know whose yarn this was. Sorry, and then the lighting is not showing it very well, but it's like a very pale, almost white pink, and then it's got these speckles of darker pinks throughout. And then the last color that I chose is, who is this? I don't remember. I'll put it up here too. But this is an overall pale yellow. It's got some of that darker yellow that kind of goes with this in it. But it's got pinks and lavenders and aquas. So this is the palette that I've chosen for this anemone shawl. And I think it's going to turn out so fun. And the thing that I'm really enjoying, and I know that I'm going to continue enjoying with this shawl, is that every little while there's a lot of color changing. Different colors are intermingling with each other, so it's not like just a block of colors and then another block of color. All the colors are kind of playing with each other. I did have to go through and check to make sure that these two didn't really play together, because they're different, but knitted up they would read very similarly within color work. So I had to go through the pattern and make sure that these two colors didn't get paired together. So that was the only difficult part. And I've started it. I'm only in the first section, and this one has baubles. So this is obviously the purple, and I am using this pink. And I had to look and find a video on YouTube to help me make the baubles, because the instructions in the pattern, I understood them and I did it, but they didn't look bobbly. They just kind of look like, I don't know, just like little flat pieces just hanging there. They didn't look round-ish like a bauble should. So I went and found a video and kind of adapted it to the way the pattern is written so that I could get it to work. And you know, you are going to have floats in the back, because this is basically intarsia, because you need a few rows or a few stitches of the purple, then you do the bauble, then a few rows of the purple, and then the bauble. So this is not intarsia. Why am I blanking on this? Just like stranded color work. So there are going to be floats, and so they were longer, but I did catch the floats on the next row up so that they're not too loose and wonky. So I think I've got another couple of sections of these baubles. I think I'm about to start another row of baubles, and then there'll be another row after that, and then I'll start the other colors. But I'm excited by this, like I say, because of all of the color changes and the different textures. There's going to be different pattern stitches making different textures and color play and everything. So super, super excited about it. I've been wanting to make this one for quite a while, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then again, just stash diving and finding some of these colors just accidentally sitting next to each other. And I'm like, wait a minute, those kind of look good. So very, very excited to get to that one. But I have that one. I started it all excited, and then I found another pattern. Oh no, there's another color that I was going to use too. I didn't show you. I knew I was missing something. This pink is also part of the palette. And the purple, hold on. I'm making a mess and I'm tangling things up. This is why I'm called the Tangled Cat Speaks, because I'm tangled. Okay, get over there. All the time. So yeah, the pink even kind of goes with all of it. Pinks, purples, yellows. I'm really enjoying that color palette. So I'm excited to see how some of these are going to play with each other. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Because the other thing that I started, and this is what I've been spending most of my time on this month, is another shawl, but this is a crochet shawl, and it is crocheted worsted weight. So let me show you the colors. This is another Sock Obsession yarn. I think actually this might be a DK. Yeah, this is a DK. The other one that I'm using, it says DK, but it feels more like a worsted. They don't look quite the same thickness. And also there is a difference here because this is applied yarn and this is a single. So I don't know if that's going to affect the structure of the shawl too much, because one time I tried making a tank top that I did kind of stripe applied yarn and a singles yarn, and the draping on it did not fit right because it wasn't hanging properly, because the two yarns, this particular the unplied yarn, this singles yarn didn't have enough strength, so it added an extra drape, so the garment didn't fit. I don't know if that's going to be a problem with something like a shawl where you kind of want it to have a little more drape. So we'll see. I hope it works out because I'm already halfway done. But this is Sock Obsession yarn, Resilient DK. The colorway is called Squinting Lights. I don't know where they come up with their names, but it's really cool. Now, if you don't know, yellow is my least favorite color, but this has purples and pinks, aquas, just kind of sprinkled throughout it. And the yellow is tonal. It's not like real solid. So you've got a lot of white showing up in there too. And then mixing it with this, it's not, I don't mind yellow as an accent, you know, or when it's paired with other things. I don't like it as an overall color so much. I don't ever shy away from working with yellow, but it's definitely not one of my favorite colors. Now, aqua is definitely one of my favorite colors. So I have 3 skeins of each of these. This is Southern Skeins Single DK. I think the pattern calls, I can't remember if the pattern calls for DK or worsted. I'm using a USH crochet hook, which is 5.0 millimeters. It's the same crochet hook that I used on this, but this was fingering weight. So, I mean, you can see how even though you're using the same hook, the fabric is going to look different with the thickness based on the thickness of the yarn. So that's kind of something to consider when you're choosing hooks. Test your fabric first. So I kind of gave you a hint of what this looks like. I am striping for the most part the 2 colors, so the yellow isn't overwhelming me. I love how that looks. However, that's not the whole way through. I started it with just the aqua on the bottom, You can see that there's some braiding going on here. I'll explain that in a little bit. And then as I got towards the center, and this is mostly because of the yardage, I wasn't sure that I was going to have enough. I actually have 4 skeins. As I said, 3 of each, but I do have a 4th one that I didn't wind up yet. I'm hoping I don't have to break into that one, but I have it just in case. So this is the reason why I came up with the color placement in this one, because my color placement is very different than the original shawl. The original shawl is done in blocks of, I think, 5 colors, and there's some kind of fading technique to move from one color to the next all the way across the shawl, where I'm just using the 2 colors, and I changed up the color placement. So we've got that solid beginning, and then I started striping, and we've got all this braiding going on, which it's kind of hard to show on camera how cool those braids look. And then too, the colors are not solid colors, so it kind of hides the cables, but it's very 3-dimensional. And then as you get to the center, this is where I started doing solid again, but this time in the yellow. So this will be right at the middle of my back, because it's going to go like this. So this will be in the back. So even though this is not a solid yellow and it's not my favorite color, it's going to be in the back where I'm not really going to see it. However, I'm glad I made this choice, because the braids start to branch off and then they cross in the center. So now I'm going to start going back the other direction to where they go back to where they were just along the sides. It's a super cool pattern. I do have to pay very close attention to it because it's a lot. If you know crochet patterns, you have like a big paragraph for each row, and you really got to pay attention on this one, because you can get your stitch counts off very, very quickly. I've frogged a few rows a couple of times, but I think I've gotten into the rhythm now. Halfway through, I'm barely getting the rhythm, but it's a very, very cool pattern and very much loving it. I just hope that I have enough of this yarn, because I only have 3 of this. And I stopped, I started the solid yellow here based on, where did I do with it? I don't remember. Oh yeah. The second ball, I weighed it. And then when I got to half of that, then I started the solid yellow for a little while. And then when I get to the same section on going the other direction, then I'll have this much yarn to finish it off. And I'm hoping I have enough. I'm hoping that I weighed it properly, that I calculated properly. We shall see, but I really am enjoying making this. I think it's going to be super cool to see that full crossing. Now these braids are made up of loops that is called Jacob's ladder, and I have seen these before, but I've only ever seen them to where it just does, let's see, you can see it better maybe up here, where you just see a loop looped into each other all the way up. So when you're crocheting them, you make the loop as long as however many chains the pattern calls for, and then you just kind of let them dangle, and then you keep working row after row, and then adding another loop where it says, but you kind of let them dangle in front, and then at the end you pick up the first loop, and then you just start looping them through each other all the way up, and that makes this braided effect. Now I know, obviously, like I said, I'm only halfway through, but I got excited and I wanted to see what the loops are starting to look like. So I went ahead and started at the bottom and started some of the loops. I've got them right now pinned so that they don't slide back out as I work the rest of the shawl, but I really wanted to see how they look up or work up. But like I said, I've only ever seen it where it's just loops, and I've seen, you know, like you'll have a whole blanket or a shawl and it's just loops going up, just plain rows of or columns of loops. Where this one, she went and made them traveling. Like they like I said, they branched off. Now they're crossing, and then they're gonna uncross, and then they're gonna join back up to the main section again. So I thought that was a very, very clever, very interesting, and I'm super excited about it. And this is going to be way long because this is half, and this is well past my finger. So if the other half is about this long, that means this is going to be close to 80 inches across, and this has got to be about 35 inches this way. But I'm having such a good time making it, other than the couple of times where I realized, like I say, you have to really pay attention. There was a couple of times that I put these front post triple crochets here that are bordering all of the braids. There was a couple of times that I either forgot to make one, or I put it in the wrong place, and I didn't notice until a few rows later when I was like, wait a minute, something looks so weird. So yeah, I've frogged this a couple of times because I wasn't fully paying attention. So if you decide to get this shawl, oh, and I didn't mention, it's called The Passage by Carolyn Currier. So if you decide to do this, just know you really got to pay attention because every row is different. And within each row, there's a lot going on. But it's fun, and I'm excited. I am very, 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 very excited by this one. I can't wait to get this one done. And then I promise to get back to my hen wife shawl. I really do want to work on that one. I really do. And I kind of feel bad that I put that one down. But, I mean, I'm having fun regardless, so I shouldn't feel too bad, right? I mean, it's my yarn and I do what I want. But that's really all that I have going on right now as far as knitting and crocheting. Let's see, TV shows. I meant to write all this down and I forgot, of course. Silo on Apple TV. I finished the 2 seasons on there, and I know that a 3rd season is supposed to come out, but I don't know when. But that I really, really enjoyed that show, and it really makes me want to go back and read the series, the book series. I can't remember the name of the author, but I think the series is called Silo, but I remember that the first book is called Wool, and that's probably why I bought it in the first place years and years ago when I first started getting into knitting and crocheting, because wool, it has nothing to do with knitting, but that's where my brain went, and that's why I got the book, but I never read them. They're on my Kindle, so maybe after I finish what I'm reading now, I will get back to that. But the TV series, I'm very, very much enjoying. What else am I watching? Actually, not really a whole lot. I've just been watching a little bit of things here and there on YouTube. I did get my Blu-ray of the Stray Kids concert from their tour. One of their stops on their world tour was in LA at SoFi Stadium. So I got the DVD for that, and I watched that a couple of times. And then I got the other one where they filmed it in Seoul, South Korea. So yeah, I've just been watching a lot of YouTube stuff, and I watched those 2. And then I watched there's a movie that I watched years and years ago when my kids were little. It's a Chinese kind of fantasy science fiction kind of kids movie, and it was about this father and son. They're very poor. The father works in construction, but they're very, very poor. He just can't seem to make ends meet, and they live in this like dirty hovel. They're just trying so very hard to make it, and he works long hours, but the kid is always getting in trouble at the school that he goes to because he's unkempt and he's not studying enough, and his dad doesn't have enough money to pay the fees, and this, that, and the other thing, and he wants to fit in with the other kids, and the other there's this one kid who's just a bully, but he's popular. And so he's always beating up this poor kid. And one day his dad brings home something that, because they're poor, the dad will go to the dump and get things like shoes or things for the house, like he brought home a fan, like a standing little fan, because it gets so hot in their little home and they don't have air conditioning. And so he gets a lot of stuff from the dump because he can't afford to buy things new. And he found this ball and he thought, oh, maybe my son will like it. And it turns out that this ball is an alien. And this alien does its very best to help the kid get past the bullies and bring him closer to his father, because he feels embarrassed that his dad can't get him the things that he needs or the things that he wants to fit in with the other kids. So it's a very heartwarming story, but it's also super hilarious. The little kid, the character is a little boy, but the actress, it was a little girl who played him. And oh my gosh, the facial expressions, so cute, so funny. It's called CJ7. And yeah, I watched that actually just yesterday because I was just having a good time. But yeah, I haven't really been watching a whole lot other than just random stuff on YouTube, those couple of shows and that movie. So that was pretty much it. I had a very kind of slow month. I've been working, this has been taking up a lot of time, and that's probably why I'm not watching a lot of shows, because like I say, I got to focus so I can put things on in the background that I've already seen, so I can just listen to it while I'm trying to keep an eye on this pattern. So that's why I haven't really been watching a whole lot of stuff. But yeah, that was my May. Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely gonna pick up the Henwife shawl once I get through these two projects. Where is it? These two projects. This one's probably going to take me a while, so I may not even get to Henwife in June. It's just, that's my plan. Once these two are finished, I mean, this took me halfway took me most of May. So I might not even get to Henwife in June either, because I still got the other half of this to do, and then I got all of this to do. We'll see how my brain feels when I finish one thing, because I keep changing my mind all the time. But that's okay, because I'm enjoying myself. So let me know what you're working on, and I will see you again next time. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. I very much appreciate your company, and I will see you again. Bye.